Good morning, everyone. My name is Leona Grace S. Ambay, BE Ed 2A, and this is the continuation of the report of Miss May Ampiran about the sources of authority. Several common ways of thinking about ethics are based on the idea that the standards of valuation are imposed by a higher authority that commands our obedience. In the following section, we will explore three such ideas: the authority of the law, the authority of one's religion, and the authority of one's own culture. But we will focus only on the authority of one's own culture. So first, we will discuss what is culture. So culture is the characteristics and knowledge of a group of people encompassing language, religion, social habits, music, and arts. So culture is a word for the way of life of groups of people, meaning the way they do things. Different groups may have different cultures. A culture is passed on the next generation by learning, whereas genetics are passed on by heredity. Culture is seen in people's writing, religion, music, clothes, cooking, and in what they do. Our exposure to different societies and their cultures makes us aware that there are ways of thinking and valuing that are different from our own. So let's proceed to cultural relativism. So cultural relativism promotes a sense of humility, urging us not to imagine that our culture is superior to another. So when we say humility, it is the quality of being humble, to build trust and facilitates learning, which are key aspects of leaderships and personal development. So cultural relativism is the ability to understand a culture on its own terms and not to make a judgment using the standards of one's own culture. We can't judge other culture according to our own standards, if that is right or wrong, or if it is normal or not to us. But instead, we should try to understand cultural practices of the groups in its own cultural context. So we have 4 points of criticism by James Rachels. First is argument of cultural relativism. All cultures have different and moral codes. Therefore, there is no objective truth in morality. The moral code of a society determines what is right or wrong within that society. There are no moral truths that hold for all people at all times. We can say that their culture is wrong or what they do is wrong. So second is under cultural relativism. So there is no judgment on the practices of other cultures. For example, the man can marry as many as he can as long as he can support the needs of his families. So that is a part of others' culture. So we must respect that and we must be open-minded. So third is judge practices even our own cultures. So we should not judge our own cultures. Instead, we must be proud and glad of our traits, values, and practices of our cultures. Last is having unique practices. So, increasingly difficulty to determine what exactly defines one's cultures, because all of us have unique and different cultures. All we need to do is understand and respect our cultures and others' cultures. And that's all for today. I hope you learned something.